So Jake Brancatella admits that Muslims do not have the complete Quran today. Why am I saying this? Well, you guys will see. I'm going to provide an argument here going off explicitly things that he affirms in one of his latest videos about 4 days ago. And for every premise, I'm going to play a part of the video where clearly you can see that he's affirming the premise. So let's go through the first premise. Remember, guys, I'm not doing any textual criticism here, any deep, assumptions about Quran history or anything. I'm just going off of what Jake said and showing that the logical conclusion that follows from all of his assumptions, all of his premises here, is that he affirms that you Muslims do not have the complete Quran today. And so none of you Muslims are actually capable of reciting the complete Quran. You guys are only capable of reciting part of the Quran. So let's get right into the argument. So premise one is as follows. It's just a definition that Jake affirms. The 7 arufs are the complete Quran. And we'll play the clip showing Jake affirms exactly this as the definition of the Quran.
And understand what is actually being said. Now, what is actually meant by the word Quran? How many Qur'ans are there? What does the word Qur'an actually mean? Now let me show you guys this. This is from a classical scholar, At-Tahawi, and he explicitly deals with this issue about the ahraf, right? So he says a group held, some Muslim scholars held the opinion, that these 7 ahraf mentioned in these reports are 7 modes or aspects, each mode among them being a part from among the parts of the Quran, distinct from the other mode / aspect within it. They held that each harf among these ahraf is a category from among the categories. In other words, in a certain sense, each harf can be considered a part of the Quran and not the complete entirety of the Quran. What do I mean by not the entirety of the Quran? In the sense that one harf doesn't encompass every single word that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that was permissible to be recited in prayer, in salah.
Now, as you can see, Jake explicitly affirms that the 7 arufs are the complete Quran. Not only that, he explicitly cites one of his scholarly sources to demonstrate that each aruf is a part of the Quran, right? So each aruf individually is not the Quran. They are parts of the Quran. The modes are parts of the whole, right? He explicitly affirmed it. Premise 2 is the Qur'an are a part of the 7 arufs. So why do I say this? Well, you'll see in the video. He gives a source explicitly saying this, and it just follows from the definition of what a part-whole relation is. To be clear, the Qur'an, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right here, but it is just the recitations that we have today, the warsh, the hafs, the warsh, the hafs, and whatnot. You guys' other 7 or 10 standard recitations that are authoritative today.
Okay. Now we have another earlier scholar, Abu Muhammad Mekki, and he says this: all of these readings which people recite today and whose transmission from the imams has been authenticated are only a part of the 7 ahraf according to which the Quran was revealed. The wording, pronunciation of them conform to the written script of the Mus'haf, upon which the companions and those after them reached consensus. So there's consensus. There's not this conspiracy theory like the Christian apologists tried to present, where Uthman just went rogue and started burning all these Qur'ans. No. That's not the idea. There was consensus from the companions on this about what was able to continue to be recited. So he says, and those after them reached consensus, as well as upon casting aside whatever was besides it. And it was neither dotted nor marked with vowel signs, so it was able for that reason to accommodate such interpretations or reading. So the
third premise is if the qira'at are only a part of the 7 aruf, then the qira'at are not the complete Quran, right? This just follows from a definitional truth. A part is not the whole, right? If a qira'at is a part, then the qira'at is not the whole. Follows, just definitionally speaking. Then here's premise 4. If the qira'at are not the complete Quran, then Muslims do not have the complete Quran today, because all Muslims have today is the qira'at, which is the parts.
So we don't have this position that all of the ahraf are preserved and needed to preserve. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to preserve what he did, and that the Prophet ﷺ said a single harf in and of itself is sufficient.
After showing all of that, let's go through the argument one last time. Premise 1 is the 7 arufs are the complete Quran. Premise 2 is the qira'at are only part of the 7 arufs. Premise 3 is if the qira'at are only a part of the 7 arufs, then the qira'at are not the complete Quran. Just follows strict definition with part-whole relations. Premise 4 is if the qira'at are not the complete Quran, then Muslims do not have the complete Quran today. Now, why is this such an issue? Well, because if Jake is saying that the Quran is the 7 arufs, he's defining it as a set, then, and he admits later on, as I'll show the clip here.
So we don't have this position that all of the ahraf are preserved and needed to preserve. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
All of the arufs were not preserved. As he says, Allah chose to preserve what he chose to. Arufs were not preserved. That means that in principle, he's saying it's impossible for any of you Muslims to recite the Quran, right? You can only recite parts of the Quran, but because parts are not the whole, you cannot say you're reciting the Quran, right? You can just say, I'm reciting a part of the Quran. Even if you took together all of the distinct recitations out there today and you recited them one after the other completely in memory, according to Jake, because the arufs were not preserved, it's impossible to recite the complete Quran. So there you go, guys. Go talk to Jake about this because he seems to have something to work out with you guys.